So you still believe that second EGM will be well attended?
We are trying to, now we are actually running against time. It is going to be held, as you are aware, on the 28th November. Less than about, I would say about 2 weeks. Yeah. 2 weeks. So we are going around the country, and we plan to have smaller groups of discussion. And sometimes we go for this kind of big dinners, and you go up the stage, you give big speeches, small speeches, and it may not be that effective. But what we want to do is to convince the people that it is a necessity, and it is a matter of restoring the party's integrity which is the most effective way. And it looks like it is the ultimate solution.
Right. So you think the support is, the response is rather positive?
In certain quarters, yes. But I admit there are certain quarters where we need to work extra hard. And you will see sometimes the central delegates, as you are well aware, and a lot of this, in politics, I'm not talking just about in MCA, a lot in any kind of political parties, you may have a kind of situation where a lot of interest groups going on. So it is not just political values anymore. It's not just democratic principles anymore. But you need to convince them that politics is not just about clinging to a leader, along the leader's way of thinking and so on, but it's more than that. It's not just so-called partisan. You cling to a leader, rightly or wrongly. We think that must be changed.
But some say the support for the second UGMBC is focused on in Johor and Pahang, and then but the northern states are a bit tough to crack because Joshua Lake has strong support over in northern states.
Yes, we don't deny that. But as I say, we tend to have smaller groups, and sometimes have a personal touch to have a chat with them. We can actually feel that there are certain issues which they may not be able to understand yet, and a bit of confusion that they thought last time that the president wanted to call for the second EGM, but we objected, that kind of issue, and we explained to them, and they thought it is a matter of supporting Liow to be the president, which is not the issue. So they thought it is a matter of political struggle for no good reason, which is not the issue. So we need to spend some time with them. So we are working hard on it.
So I mean, have you read the letter of the so-called letter by Ong Tee Kiat to the ROS, which is published by some of the newspaper? The content of the letter. I read
it from the paper. I read it from the paper. I've forgotten how he worded it, but something like asking for some sort of clarification as to whether there's any vacancy. I think it's some sort of that line. I read it from the paper only, but some sort of that line.
What are your stand on the content of the letter?
We thought Article 174 says very clearly in the party constitution that the CC is entrusted with the job to interpret the resolutions made in the EGM. So, of course, I don't think it is right for the president, the CC having made up his mind, and then the president went on to write another letter on his own motion. I wouldn't say arbitrarily, but on his own motion, without us knowing it. So I don't think that is right as a matter of principle. And you want to resort to this party constitution, and I don't think that is the right thing to do.
Right. So it's not a principle. We don't think that he's a principled man.
I don't want to use that word. But what I can say is, I don't think that is right for him to do that.
I think the fact is that you all wanted to push him up as a president, and the third one is for party struggle because you're afraid that the Greater Unity Plan would, cause some of the leaders who lost their posts and stuff like that.
You see, they raise on the face of it. Prima facie, I would say, it's interesting argument, but it's devoid of merit. And I don't think what they say is right, is true. Now, thing is, now we are talking about restoring the order. I don't bother, personally. I don't bother who is going to be the next president. I'm more concerned with trying to restore MCAs into the proper order. We want to bring back the kind of credibility that people look on us. That is what I want to do. Now, by having a fresh elections, anybody can contest. Anybody can contest. Now, if we were to want to cling to power, there's no reason for us to ask for a fresh election. because we are submitting ourselves to the central delegates in order to have another round. So you stand a chance of losing and winning equally. Okay? You can win as well as you can lose. And the risk is equal. So I don't think it holds any water for them to say that it is just another political struggle, which you see 16 people signing. A lot of these people actually having a public office. They're public office holder. A minister, a deputy minister. And there is really no reason why, if they really want to cling to the power, because if you want to cling to the power, it's by way of negotiation, by way of mediation, not by way of having a fresh election and submitting yourself to the risk, so-called, of losing.
Contradictory that you all stated that you don't want the intervention from the Prime Minister, so it doesn't seem to be.
You see, we are taking the stand. We always believe that MCA problems can only be resolved by MCA grassroots, through our central delegates. And we take the stand from the very beginning. That's why we still believe in fresh elections, because fresh elections involving our own MCA members, our own central delegates. So, for us, the best way of solution will still come back to the justice of MCA within, justice within. And we think the ultimate solution is our own people trying to rectify our own problem. That is our stand. Now, going back to, prior to the issue you raised, well, I need to do a bit of dissect, to do a bit of analysis on here. Now, when the President, after the Central Committee meeting on the 15th of October, and he proposed to have an EGM, of which we objected. The reason why we objected, because he wanted to call for another EGM with two motions. The first motion, to affirm the leadership of himself together with the CC. Failing which, meaning if he loses in the first motion, then we go for the fresh election. And we don't think that was right. Because if you are having that kind of intention, meaning he was trying to use the second EGM in order to reverse the resolution made against him in the first EGM, failing which, then he go for the fresh election. We don't think that is right. So that's why we objected. But now we are talking about fresh elections, having taken into account the October the 10th resolutions, and having taken into account, he said that there's no need for for him to brief the CC and so on, and taking into account the fact that our leaders, of course, they say something, but they'll did something else, and of course, taking into account the fact that our leaders are not complying and implementing political accountability in the party. So now we go straight for the fresh elections, which is totally a different matter from what was proposed earlier by the President.